right, I will call to order the August meeting of Rose Valley Borough Council. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First on the agenda is approval of the minutes for the July 8th meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions, corrections?
No.
All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries 4-0. Thank you. Takes us to public comment. Is there any public comment this evening? No? Okay. That takes us to environment and EAC, which means I'm reading Leonard's report, so give me a second to pull it up. All right. So Leonard is absent on vacation and asked me to read this report, which he submitted on behalf of the EAC. The EAC, led by Jim Audley, is assessing the status of various trees in the Borough preserves. As regards the Chadwick Preserve, there are 130 living beech trees with diameters between 10 inches and 30 inches, and all of them are now infected with beech leaf disease and will die without being treated. Many red oaks in Chadwick are now dying, and all black oaks in Chadwick are already dead or dying. The EAC plans to make recommendations to Borough Council for possible treatment of some number of beech trees to protect them from this disease, and for possible plantings of species of other trees more likely to thrive in Chadwick under current conditions. The EAC recommends that the borough's request for bids for snow and ice management be approved now, so the publication and circulation of the request can be made earlier than in past years, in the hope that we receive more bids. Some members of the EAC have suggested minor changes to the request in order to collect better data about the volume of salt being used relative to the amount of snow and ice in each storm. Our mayor supports accepting one of these suggested changes. Mindful that the EAC did not have a quorum at its last meeting, and mindful that working on ways to make progress on salt reduction is something that will continue indefinitely, Leonard, defer to council and our mayor on any additional content changes, and simply request that this year's request be approved tonight in some form so that publication and circulation can follow promptly, in hopes that we get more bids. Justin Stopford has been asked by the EAC promptly to weed whack all trails in Seoul and Chadwick preserves. This work may already be completed. Justin will also be asked by the EAC to weed whack stilt grass on the Long Point floodplain in Chadwick later this month. This is part of ongoing efforts to reduce the presence of this invasive plant in this particular preserve location. The EAC continues to devote substantial efforts to improving habitat in the Long Point floodplain. Invasive knotweed in this area was sprayed last week by our certified herbicide applicator. Also sprayed last week were any newly sprouted invasive angelica trees. A genetically different pawpaw tree planted on Long Point some years ago is thriving and promises to cause pawpaw fruits to appear in coming years on the mature trees in the ever-expanding clonal grove of pawpaws in Long Point. And that's it for Leonard. He'll take any questions next month when he's back. That takes us to library. Catherine?
Yes. So briefly on the report that I passed out, I just want to make everyone aware of our annual fundraiser, which is coming up on Saturday, September 19th. Well read. You can see all the information here. You can also find it on the website. The annual audit was completed and all of the results were great. There were no details of note for the auditors. And the building maintenance expenses are also down this year, which is great. The library has new parking lot signs and a new ADA sign, courtesy of a couple of board members and the Nether Providence Township. And the Story Walk project posts were installed in front of the library. And the library would like to thank Hollywood Landscaping for their help on that project. We also recently had a volunteer move away who headed up the used book sale, and so we're looking for a new volunteer to help with the used book sale. And we are also always looking for new board members because they rotate off yearly. And then finally, I wanted to make special note of the fact that Rose Valley Borough landed in the #1 spot on the municipal funding report of 2025 for circulation per capita. So Rose Valley reads and Rose Valley supports the library, and we came in #1. So that was kind of nice. There's a form on the website if you're interested in donating. And when you are thinking about planned giving, don't forget Helen Kate.
Thank you, Catherine. Any questions? Sorry, Tony, I inadvertently skipped over you. Any report?
Well, I don't have anything on my section, although I'm seeing here a change order for the paving. Is that something we need to?
I think that's part of planning.
Okay. Then,
That's part of it.
then
Did we authorize the snow plowing bids?
Not yet.
Okay. We could do that.
then nothing else for highways, insurance, and technology.
Okay, thank you. That takes us to public safety, and Cheryl is absent, so I will read her report. So Cheryl's report for July is under fire. There were 5 incidents reported, including 4 automatic fire alarms and 1 EMS assist. And there's a report from the fire marshal in your packet, which details those 5 incidents. There are the police report. There was 1 death in Rose Valley last month, which resulted in a state police call. It was determined to be natural causes. The EMS authority, so a draft of the Articles of Incorporation for the Multi-Municipality Emergency Medical Services Authority of Delaware County was sent to council for review. The meeting will be held on September 2nd at Strathaven Middle School at 7 p.m. for a vote. And that's it for public safety. Any
Do we need
questions?
to be there? I mean, what would our role be? Like,
Oh,
we
yes.
should be if we can
You
be.
need to have a quorum there, and you will be sitting as a
I
council.
think we decided we did have a quorum based on that, but that's the date, right? That was the date we discussed.
September 2nd.
Second?
Right.
Second.
Okay.
Yep.
And who's going to go there? Are you going to be?
I now can. I was not able to originally, but now I can. I don't
And I
remember
can go.
who else said what.
Catherine said she could
Catherine
go. I
said
think
yes.
Cheryl's going to go.
I don't know if what Leonard or the
I
others.
can be there.
Tony can be there. I think I can be there, but I need to look again. That's not Labor Day weekend.
It's before.
Before. Okay. Then I should be able to go. All right.
Do we want to authorize the snow plowing bid?
Yeah, we can do snow plowing under highways, insurance, and technology. So I think what we're looking for is a motion to approve preparing the request for proposals and advertising that request for proposals for our snow plowing services for this coming 2026-2027 winter.
So moved.
Sarah, second?
Second.
I think that carries right there, but just to be formal, all in favor? It carries 4-0. All right. So that takes us to planning. Shannon?
Yes, and my update is largely around the finances on the path. So we submitted a payment request for $100,000 from the Department of Community and Economic Development, the DCED Greenways Trails Grant, on July 14th. We included with the payment copies of the Kenny invoice and canceled check for $103,270.42. Because the grant requires a 15% match, the copies of the Kenny invoice for $70,443.43 and the canceled checks were submitted for reimbursement from Delco Greenways Grant Round 2, along with copies of the first Delco Greenways Grant 2 and 4 grants requests and the check for $112,990 from Delaware County. These were all proof of the matching funds. You got that? Because that's really a lot. We got the check for $100,000 from the Commonwealth on July 27th and has been deposited in the Road Improvement Fund. Then, we submitted on July 29th the third and final payment request for $7,598 from the Delco Greenways Round 2 grant. That's final 10% of the $75,980 grant amount. That closes out that grant. With it, we provided copies of the McCusker invoice and canceled check for $5,536.57, which, along with the Kenny invoice and canceled check for $70,443.43, submitted with the Borough's second payment request, that brought the total invoiced and paid to exactly $75,980. Payment of the grant funds by Delaware County, it typically takes a month, but there was a recent hack of their computer system, which means that could cause further delays. Closing out that grant required installation of a sign acknowledging that funds for the Rose Valley Road Trail were provided by the Delco Greenways Municipal Grant. The sign was installed at the start of the trail near Woodward Road. So it's the second item. Pro Max Fencing Systems, that's Kenny's subcontractor for the fencing. They completed installation of the estate and guard fencing, which was in the contract. They didn't do the split rail fencing on the CNC property, which I will get to next. They submitted an invoice in the amount of $91,845, which is in our packet. And I'm going to make a motion. I move that we approve payment of $91,845 to Kenny for the installation of the estate and guard fencing.
Is there a second?
Second.
What was that amount, Shannon?
$91,845.
Any comments or questions on that? All in favor? Carries 4-0.
Okay. So, Lou Cianci previously indicated he wanted his old split rail fence replaced the same way. But then, having seen the new estate fence and how nice that looked, he asked if estate fencing could be installed on his property instead of split rail. The change cost an additional $7,091.28 over the original contract price of $269,630.44. So that contract then will total $276,721.72. Bill's view is the estate fencing actually would look much nicer carrying on and would bring the whole path together. So the financial impact. The total grant money available for the project is $325,980. The engineering expenses associated with the project this year were $6,990.31 and $12,639, and that was spent on the Thomas's Hedges and the Brew and Biscopi Borough. So $29,628.97 in grant funds would be available for the replacement shrubs after this change order. So Bill has indicated that additional funds could be available from individual donors who are just really pleased that the trail has gotten built. But we would only need that if the replacement trees and shrubs plus this change order went over the amount that we have. So we may be able to do, we just don't know yet about the replacement shrubs. But the point being, we think we would get the money to go ahead and put that change order in.
The only two properties left to do the replanting are the Lindsays and the Strumans.
And Hansi and Thomas. Thomas is getting a few replacement trees. We took down a lot of trees. And there's Bill Thomas right there.
Okay.
And Diane Cedar is getting a few on the Woodward Road side of her property. So a little bit on
Okay.
Cedars, quite a bit on Strides that needs
Right.
the most, because they really got a big impact.
Strines and Lindsay's, yeah, okay.
So I'm going to make a motion about the change order. I move that we approve a change order to the Kenny contract to switch the Cianci fencing from split rail to estate fencing at an additional cost of $7,092.28.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I'm just trying to, there's so many numbers.
I know. Trust me, I know.
So we've got 29,000-ish left on the grants, if I'm understanding correctly.
Yeah.
So this takes it down to 22-ish.
No, this will take it down to 29.
This takes it
There'll be
down.
29 left.
Takes 20, okay, there's 29
29.6
left
left.
after this change order.
Right.
And then that's got to cover all of that
All the others,
landscaping that we
replacement
were
trees
just
and
talking
shrubs.
about. Do we have a sense for what that's, I'm just curious, do we know now what that replace all those
Well,
trees and shrubs?
We really won't know until we go out for bids on it, but we
Okay.
think that would do the trick. And, Lou has said, if you give me the estate fence, I don't need as much replacement trees and shrubs. But the bottom line is, we have people who are very happy and surprised that this path actually got built. And they're willing to donate some money to complete the project if need be. So
Okay.
the funds are available if we need them. Just don't know if we need everybody.
Gotcha, okay.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor? Carries 4-0 as well.
Okay. The last item is that the application for the Multimodal Transportation Fund Grant from the Commonwealth's Financing Authority for the design and construction of a pedestrian path along Rose Valley Road, which we approved doing the application last month's council meeting. That requires a resolution authorizing request of funds. So I'm going to make a motion to prepare the official resolution to authorize the request of funds. All right.
And the resolution you have in your packet, Matt requests I change it slightly to say it's from Traymore Lane to Valley Green on Borough property, instead of from School Lane to Possum Hollow. So that's what Matt actually applied for, on Borough property. So the resolution is slightly different. And there's another resolution that has to be signed and submitted with the application that Paula signs. It just certifies that we passed a resolution that says these things. But I can give you that one also.
Okay. So I move that we approve Resolution 5-2026 for the Multimodal Transportation Fund Grant application in the amount of $322,850 for the design and construction of a pedestrian path along Rose Valley Road on Borough property from Traymore Lane to the Valley Green.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions? All in favor? Okay. Carries 4-0 as well. That's it for planning. All right, that takes us to finance. Chris, it's all your show tonight.
All right, I reconciled the bank statements as, and confirmed the balances shown on our status of funds. Income report, you showed $98,063.15, much of which was the $100,000 deposit for the pathway project. Under bills for approval, the total bills for approval is $41,160.06. EMS library third quarter contribution, which is $87.50. Tree removal by Carney at $3,500. Miscellaneous projects by Justin Stockford for $24.55. And Mascaro at $5,610 for recycling for August. And the road improvement fund, again, was sort of covered before. The James Kenny, there was a deposit made into the account for $91,845, which covered the James Kenny walking trail project.
So that's the check we have to write tonight.
That's what we wrote tonight, yes. So that's
There's a $100,000 deposit that came into the account.
right.
But this we have to write this
100,000,
check.
but the deposit, the transfer was the $91,845, I believe.
So that's the check we're writing tonight.
Yeah.
I think it's in the pile right there,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
I'll look for it.
And that's all I got.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the bills for payment?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any comments or questions on the bills? All in favor? Carries 4-0. All right, managers report.
So the couple things to report. One is we got new street signs for Woodward Road and Thorn Path, and they've been installed. The two signs that were taken out of those locations are antique ones, the ones that were made by Herbert Walton, but they've been really beat up and they need repair. So Jack Abcott, who's working on Thunderbird Lodge, also does iron working as a hobby. So we're going to have him repair the signs when he can, and then eventually use them, reuse them. So they'll be going up and then going back up at some point. All beautiful, all repainted with new letters and everything. But the other thing I wanted to tell you about is that the Philadelphia Museum of Art, in honor of the 250th anniversary of the United States, is having an exhibit called Workshop of the Worlds, and it focuses on New Hope, Arden, Bryn Athyn, and Rose Valley. It has 13 artifacts from Rose Valley that are on display, and it's going to be on display until October. And I encourage everyone to go in and see it. The nice thing is it's not a huge exhibit, so it doesn't really wear you out. You know, although the art museum has been redone and it looks beautiful, and so that's a fun thing to see. But it's really great to see the Rose Valley artifacts in a professional setting. It really looks beautiful, and it's a real honor to be at the Museum of Art. So I encourage you all to go.
And how many items do we have on there?
13.
13.
Right. Which is great. You know, I mean, I think that we probably have the most things of the whole exhibit, the most artifacts.
Great. All right, mayor's report.
So I went on the tour. The museum had a tour of the Philadelphia Art Museum, and I went, and we were hanging out with Paula, and I found out something about our borough manager.
Uh-oh.
Paula, when she was a senior in high school, would sometimes skip school, take the train into Philadelphia to hang at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. And
Yes.
she knew every cranny. After the tour, she took us to see the Thomas Aiken paintings and the
Van
Escherich
Gogh.
fireplace, and she knows every little highlight in the museum, and it would be a
Which,
great tour.
if you do go in to see the Rose Valley exhibit, go over across the museum to see the American exhibit, where they have the fireplace that Wharton Escherich made for Curtis Bach, who was the head of the Curtis Publishing Company. And when Mr. Bach's house was dismantled, they took the whole wall with the fireplace you're in there, you should go see that too, as well as the Aikens, which are just spectacular, so.
I think the statute of limitations on your truancy is gone, so I think you're safe.
That's the most wholesome school skipping I've ever heard.
All right, solicitor's report?
Nothing, thank you.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Anybody opposed? We are adjourned.
Good.
7:57.
Is that a record?
Probably a record.
Like this, not like the
Yeah, I've got all the.